Have you ever heard of that saying that says there's no right time to do anything? I'm telling you, because when it comes to migration, you will know that there is no right time to do it but now. Like now, if you wait to be tomorrow, then you do it now. Because when I sit back to remember how long it took me to save this amount of money I'm going to mention to you, it might shock a lot of people. It took me months to be able to even save up to get a passport, save up to register for IELTS, not to mention the highest amount of all the fees, which is the recognition fee. Okay, so but it just with the saying that says the right time is now, because comparing the prices of things now, I think if I were to push it further, I may have not been able to do it. But all I'm saying is, if you have the opportunity to do it, just focus your mind into it and do it as fast as you can. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you the step-by-step amount that I spent when I was doing my process of relocating from Nigeria to Ireland as a registered nurse on visa sponsorship. Now, the amount of fee I spent was between when I got my passport to when I got my visa. So from when you get your visa, the fees after that is very different, because for some of us, your employer is going to book your flight. For some of us, you're still going to continue spending money after that, which is going to be refunded, no doubt. But the amount of money I'm going to save will only stop as at when I got my visa in my hand. So to begin with, first and foremost is the passport. As at the time, I spent 35,000 naira for my passport. Now, in 2024, this is November, the Nigerian immigration system has officially increased their passport fees. And it does not just stop at the official increment. The other things that goes at the background. Even this 35,000 I paid, that was not the official fee, but at least it was meaningful for me, because some people pay as higher as 100,000 naira. The next thing I paid for was my IELTS registration. Like I said, I did it myself. If I were to pay someone to register for me, it would be more than this. So as at the time, IELTS was 83,000 naira. And in today, as I'm making this video, IELTS is officially 256,000 naira. So it keeps getting harder. Yeah. The next fee I spent was the transportation to go and write the IELTS, which was 2,200, because I had to walk. If you know where I lived in Port Harcourt at the time, to go to Peter Odili or whatever that place was, I had to walk a distance and take the buses or KK a distance before I ordered a boat to take me there, because I didn't want to go start asking people, stuff like that. But yeah, it was 2,200 naira. And the next thing was NMCN verification. That cost me 69,406 naira 25 kobo. Like I said, I did it myself. And I now went to get my transcript, qualification forms, and letter of explanations from my school. And my principal was kind enough, if I want to be very honest. I'm sure she watches my videos sometimes. So thank you so much, Mrs. Akpan. So this amount was not even everything I paid, because it was during that a cash something that happened, that there was cashless, whatever was going on that time. So I had to pay double to get some money. So this took everything to 44,700 naira. And transportation to and from the school that time, I paid 2,600 naira. And then I went ahead to do change of name after marriage with the NMCN. That was 10,937 naira. Like I said before, my first IELTS result was not of the NMBI specification, so I applied for inquiry on results. So they asked me to send back the paper they sent to me, the first result, for them to now send me back the updated result. So DHL charged me 9,100 to send my results from Port Harcourt to Lagos. And then I did notarization. I went for the cheaper option, of course. I did it with the commissioner for oath at the Federal High Court. And all documents I notarized were 20 pages. That was not all pages. Now, when it comes to curriculum, you don't have to notarize every page of it. So I chose to do first 5 pages and last 5 pages of my curriculum. So all other documents, all pages must be notarized. So it was 1,000 naira per page and it was 20,000 naira in total. Then I had a lot to do with scanning and printing, and scanning and printing for AWAs, for visa applications, for applying to NMBI. And this is even so because I know how to use my phone to scan documents very well. So those places that does not need specific specifications, I used my phone, and those ones that need specific specifications, I go to the business center. And this was a total of 36,300 naira. Then we had to courier my documents from my school to NMPI, and this was 27,500 naira with FedEx at the time. I'm sure this has increased, if it hasn't even doubled. Then some tips here and there. I'm not sure I captured everything when it comes to tips, but the one I could capture was 1,250. Now, recognition fee, like I said, euro to naira ratio that time was 820 naira, and I spent 287,000 naira. Now, as of today, people pay almost 700. Some pay 700. I pay the money for people. Exchange rate is just flying up and down. So it's as high as 700,000 now. And it may even be more than this, which is why I said that the right time for you to do anything is now. Next is police clearance. So the official fee for police clearance is 30,000 naira. We all know that. But depending on the area command where you go, you get to add some little change. And we were asked to add 10,000 naira, which made the money to be 40,000 naira for my police clearance. Then I went ahead to do a TB quantiferon test, which was one of the tests my employer recommended that I do. And SIN lab, which is one of the very best lab in Nigeria, charged 52,200 at the time. I'm sure this amount should have doubled by now. And reissuance of license. So after I renewed my license, for some reason my license just got stuck somewhere that I did not know. So I had to apply for reissuance. And of course, it was because of this journey. So I had to add it to all my expenditures. And this was roughly 13,000 naira with remitter fees. The next thing was visa application. So during this amount now covers my transportation to and from Abuja, my transportation from where I stayed in Abuja to the VFS center and back, my feeding for that period. I think I spent about 2 days in Abuja and then came back. My feeding and everything that I spent during that journey was 239,221 naira. And mind you, I did the VIP pathway when you go into VFS, if you understand what that means. So yeah, that add to the cost. If you don't do that, you're not going to pay. I think the fee is different. You're not going to pay that much. So for vaccinations, this one, some people may think this amount was very cheap, but like I said, I will always find a cheaper option, believe me. So I was lucky enough to get in contact with a representative directly from EMZO. Yes, a representative directly from EMZO, who was coming to my place to give me the injections, the vaccines rather, so that the vaccines could be properly stored. And everything was 53,000 naira. If I were to get it from like a third party, it would be more. In fact, this 53,000 will not even be enough for hepatitis B only. Trust me, because I had other contacts that I asked. Just MMR, they were telling me like 15,000 pay. I was like, no, 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 calm down. We need to keep looking. So yeah, I spent 53,000 naira. And if you have watched up to this period and you have not subscribed to my channel, if you are watching from my Facebook and you've not followed me, you've not dropped a comment, you've not given this video a thumbs up, please tell me why. Because I'm very transparent and I promise to keep it up that way. So please give this video a thumbs up. It means you like it and I'm giving value to you, okay? Thank you. I'll give you 1 second to do that. Right. So let's continue. The next money was correction of name. So after I graduated from general nursing, for some reason, NMCN misspelled my first name. Instead of Nduweso, they spelled it as Maneso. And that was not funny. I had to, it was a long story, but to put it simply is that I had to send all my documents to NMCN and get all these things sorted out. And the money I paid to Korea, the document back and forth, getting people to be checking for me and all of that stuff, it was much. And the money for the ones I could remember was 36,000 naira. And finally was my statement of account, which I had to do it twice, and that cost me 860 euros. So yeah, from beginning when I got my passport to when I got my visa in my hand, I spent a total of, drum rolls, I spent a total of 1,066,274 naira. Let that sink in. 1,066,274 naira. Now, I'm sure if you have watched up to this point, you are like, but that's cheap now. Yeah, it is sounding cheap, but because I didn't even have people who were, kind enough to tell me all of these things, when I was about to start, it took me a lot of months. I knew about migration, but it took me more than a year, almost 2 years, to even start getting my passport because I had to start saving up. It's not funny, but when I realize now that this amount of money is just for example, now recognition fee is 700. That's more than 2/3 of this amount that I spent for everything, which is to say that there is not going to be a better time for anything. If you're opportune, if you have the finances, please just start small, budget yourself gradually before you know it, and plan yourself. Just give yourself 2 years before your IELTS expired, and then you are done with everything. Okay, so that was the amount of money I spent. In my next video, I'm going to talk about what my employers paid for me when I was recruited. Okay,